All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. We are currently charging the floor, trying to waste enough electricity to go through or to start the day. Um, the little tweaks that I made on the inverter with the instruction manual for that machine, it's the big brother. It's the medium one here, that 4.2. This is the 3.6 is the but this one came with no instruction when I bought it. But I knew that it wasn't like they were fooling me or nothing. Um, but the when I ordered this one, it came with it all three. So I retweaked this one. The programming, the in and out programming, is intuitive enough that you can go through it fairly. I would say the majority of people could go through it and get it to work even without the instruction book. This one here, you would almost have to be slow. If you couldn't make this one work, like on your second go around, you should be a champion at this one. It's really that intuitive. It's really well written. This one is not as bad. It's abbreviated. This one uses full words. This other one down here, holy crap, that uses like Sanskrit or something like that, or some archaic language that's just not used anymore, is what I'm trying to get at. Old Egyptian or something. And the programming itself is so anti-intuitive that it makes it's harder than it has to be. Maybe other people, like think backwards or whatever. The worst one about this one is if you don't exit the save, it won't save. If you don't exit with the sequence, and this one's not that way, so you forget. But once you get into it once or twice, you remember how to exit and save the stuff. Works really good. I made a pot roast with pinto beans last night, and if you have never been to the Rocky Mountains, y'all, to cook dried beans is like next to impossible up here. Like no matter if you soak them overnight, all the little, you can make them okay, but they still have the hard core. Even soaked, they're still like that. They're still soft on the outside but hard on the inside. That is a game changer. Wow. It even turned the pot roast like it just melted on your tongue, kind of thing. I probably went too far on the beans, but up here, too far on the beans is way better than not far enough on the beans. Picked this. I saw all my little ends, and I'm not even done with them yet. I'm still in the process of making all that jazz. Went to town. I did a town day yesterday. Is in 4 in and outs. That was like a marathon for me, crawling backwards into the fan. Normally I try to limit that to about 2, max 3. Yesterday I just had a bunch of stuff I had to get done, so I had to do a marathon. Found this at Harbor Freight. It's a battery cable crimper thing. It's meant for like tinned heavy gauge the ferrules, like where they have to make a big exaggerated hoop. Well, that material had to come from the ferrule itself, from this chunk here. The wall thickness is just thicker, is what I'm trying to get at. To make the bigger, the bigger the hole, like to make that little hole, you can go fairly small. You don't even need this much material. But the bigger the hoop, the more exaggerated that hoop, the thicker the material that you have to squeeze it out of. This little joker is, these ferrules are actually big enough for 2 pieces of 6. If you flare the end out just a little bit to make like a funnel, you can get 2 pieces of 6-inch cable or 6-gauge cable into one of these ferrules to make like a Y, like this is an 8, that little Y right there. But this thing smears this same ferrule. This is spinning on top, is what I'm trying to get at. That's the same ferrule. That same ferrule piece is crushed down on top of the cable to to where the cable is slightly smaller than considerably, because that's ferrule material on the outside, so it's considerably smaller than original. But it smeared it down like a penny on a railroad track, y'all. Um, I used one of these as a kid at a oh gas station my dad was involved with when I was a kid. But theirs was not quite like this. This is all one handheld. This was bolted down to the top, and then this was like probably bigger than this whole thing, and it had a hose, and it was like it moved around. But that was kind of a hassle because that didn't go anywhere. So everything, you had to bring it to it. This go right to the car. The head turns and everything. But it was made for big heavy like truck cables and stuff like that. But this is definitely a tool. I'm impressed with it. It does a pretty good job. It makes this hex-sided, six-sided the ferrule. Not quite enough crimp for the 6 gauge with this. And then when you step it down, it crushes it like just hard into the cable. It has about 9 different jaws that you can pick up. That one was a little bit big, and the next one was a little bit, well, it worked, but I wish there was one right in between it. There's not, so, but it's okay. For like one layer for this and on this number 2 wire, it would fit perfectly. If you flare that, the 2 wire will slide right into that ferrule. And then that would crimp it down like perfect. 2 of these 6s into there would be perfect, like making a Y, like I said. It's going to be a handy tool, I can see that. And it makes it look way more professional. When that gets sleeved, that's going to be, that'll be just like battery cable that you bought. And there's no coming apart about that. There is no, that's just one. You'd have to, yeah, that's just one. There is no separation on that no more. Yeah, we're bumping it up. Well, yeah, if y'all didn't know about this, you need to. It's pretty handy because like the jaws are magnetic. You can slow the jaw down. It does not travel fast, so you don't want to like let it go all the way back. It's spring loaded; it'll come back. So you can adjust that right here. How far you allow it to get back, but the jaws don't fall out or nothing. They're like held in magnetically. Pretty handy is what I'm trying to get at. I'm impressed. For what I need, it was worth it. It was time to buy one. I would almost kind of like to have a bench vise to clamp that into, like one I could bring down here. But I don't have. I might consider that next, though. Especially one that could like Acme Pucky or suction cup to that or something like that. Yeah, that'd be handy. But we're gonna make it, and that's just what we're doing, y'all. I do got to bring this up. These batteries right here are 24 volt, well 25.6 lithium, but 24 volt batteries. They're 8,000 the 8,000 watt batteries apiece. They are making a MB56 cell box like this. That'll be 48 volt. It'll be the equivalent of 4 of these battery boxes in one unit. Probably about the same size too. The lithium is squared. The size is not getting any smaller. Is what I'm trying to get at. But that much energy will be enough to run an all electric house for one day. The 4 of those boxes that's kind of like these 4 boxes make that same rough. This is like 16 and 14, so it's 30. The 4 of these, the MB56 box would be 33. It'd be 4 of these, but just a little bit more. But $3,000. I paid $2,100 for each one of those. So just to keep that in comparison, I think I did. Maybe these were only $1,100 a piece. I'll have to check on. I may only paid like $1,100 or $1,200 a piece for these. That doesn't sound right for $2,000 a piece, but $1,000 a piece. But I'm just saying that bigger box in one thing is going to be about $1,000 less at a bare minimum than 4 of those, and quite a bit less if I didn't get my numbers wrong. But just let me, that's coming around is what I'm trying to get at. Whether you do it or that's the direction I'm going to go is what I was trying to say. I did finally figure out the breaker deal here. I'm going to put one breaker to split these two apart. I had different plans on this. That way I can break the box, because this cable here is just way too big for those little breakers. That's like a 1/4 inch stainless steel nut on there. It's just not enough. So, but if I break the power between the batteries, it'll still break the circuit, is what I'm trying to get at. And then the battery, the inverter can be hooked up direct and still have the power shut until I get the new boxes in. I decided to put the other breaker here. It already had the lugs for a different type of breaker, but that was long gone too. And then it had the breaker up in the box, which died. I can't stress DC in getting quality stuff from the get-go. Don't buy the cheapest thing you can and then put your life in the balance of it. You don't want to do that. DC will really mess it up. Don't do that, is what I'm trying to say. But these already had where they were bolted together, and so I can put it to this one like it is. And just do the, until the other boxes get here, do the best I got. But that disconnects all this amperage and potential from those. That's what you need. You need as much disconnect as possible. That's a professional box there. That's nice. That's what I'm going to do for here coming in and for the going out, just like this, when I can get it from one company or break down and buy it from 4 different companies. The only thing is the individual components are different on some of these. And I don't want to invest in any more odder stuff, is what I'm trying to get at. And for an example is like the breakers and fuses and stuff like that. You got to order these to fit the stuff, is what I'm trying to get at. The one design has a blade, like I was trying to describe. These don't. These have to be replaced as a unit. And so that's why you don't want too many different, this is not the same company that I ordered the other stuff from, is what I'm trying to get at. So unless you want just spare parts and more spare parts and more spare parts, order it from the same company, and then everything fits, is what I'm trying to get at. You only got to have one set of spare parts. So that's the reason why I'm not just jumping out and buying the rest, because I don't want to deal with 4 sets of spare parts and which one goes into what. That doesn't interest me much. But that's anybody, anywhere. Like the American lightning suppression, you can't even fix. It's just once you kill it, once one blade of the 4 diodes go, you throw it away, because there's no even fixing it. You can't pull a blade or nothing like that. So, but the system is still doing good. I wish I've been looking for a 220 volt element for this. Haven't found it yet. Online I have. I did not ordered. I was hoping for local, like at Ace. That's the only place I didn't go, and I was parked right next to it to pick up this tool yesterday. The stores are one storefront apart from one another, and I just didn't have enough in me to go into Ace. I was done. And when I got in the van, I was still talking to a friend, and it was all I could do is want to get here and get out of that van and and be done for the day. That's all I could do. I was wore thin yesterday, y'all. But like I said, that's the next I want to do is get a 24 volt for that. I'd really like to have the power box put in before I do that. I might just get like a 30 amp extension cord. It's not that far. 8 foot is the distance. And wire the female socket end to this, and then run it out, and then just cut the cord like that final couple feet off of it, and then wire the male end to this where I can plug it into the socket. But that's the idea, is what I'm trying to get at. Otherwise, no biggie, no harm, no foul kind of thing. It's just, these are little projects. We got the big stuff. It's working, is what I'm trying to get at. And it's keeping the floor smoking hot. That's hot enough that it's in the 30s and 40s at night. And I've yet to shut the windows upstairs. I shut the door down here once when it was real windy. But if it's not real windy or raining, you don't even shut the door. It's pretty warm in here still. Been running the fan is what I'm trying to get at. You can't even wear a t-shirt in here. It's that warm. When the floor is warm, the whole house is warm. When you can make the air hot, but the floor will be cold, well, that sucks. This is so much better. When that concrete is warm, the whole house is warm. Even upstairs, this is not just heating this square footage, it's heating up the upstairs just as well. And doing a real good job of it with the windows open. So it does a pretty good job. Again, boy, I wish I would have known about this little dude a little sooner. The jaws are a little bit small. Like the one that I used as a kid, the jaws were probably 4 times that length and mushed it all at once. Probably why it was so big. But like I said, it was limited to what it could do. This could go right up underneath the car and fix it like in the spot that it was at. You wouldn't even have to undo nothing. Kind of not a bad to have one portable like that. Kind of probably a good idea. But okay, guys, that's about all of it, and all of that. Oh, this one here, that tweaking made all the difference in the world on the program. To what it's capable of producing is what I'm trying to get at. You guys didn't notice it, but the battery meter, even though it's still pushing voltage out, the battery is getting higher. It's almost feeding the load all by itself, and this is early morning. The roosters just stopped crowing. I'm just trying to use up as much power as I can, so it doesn't like waste it through the day. It'll fill it back up just fine. I've been trying to balance it to get as much out of it as I can. Short of this, I'm going to have to get like a jacuzzi or like heaters for my cistern tank and just dump the electricity that way. Maybe an oil heater or 2 or 3, because I'm shunting about 3,000 watt of energy a day. Quite a bit is what I'm trying to. It's this thing is 1,000, that thing is 2,000, and I was running both, still charging the battery yesterday, in a sunny day. That it's incredible the amount of power that I make. Did I realize that? No. When this one wasn't tweaked, when it wasn't performing like it should, it didn't make near that power. This one is little, it can't make that kind of power. But together, in working correctly, it made a lot of power just out of 9 panels. We're pretty intense up here at 10,000 feet for the sun, for the intensity. And this one coming online with another 12 panels of its own, man, is that going to be a game changer for up here. I need more battery and a lot more of it. Like probably 2 of those MB56 battery, like 2 days capacity, and then use electricity like a lunatic, and then just let it catch up every 2 days when the sun comes out. We don't ever have much more than 2 or 3 days, even during the storm, 2-3 days of clouds, and then it's always followed by a week of bright, brilliant weather up here. We only have about 30 days of cloudy weather all year, out of 365. It's pretty wild, the amount of solar energy that we get up here. But this is where we're at. Hopefully, by the next time we see this, we won't be like this no more. It'll all be stuffed down. I'm really that close. I just wanted, for no other reason, I didn't ever own one. I wanted one, and so I went and bought it. I knew I was going to town. So now I don't got no more reason to hold back. I got to get it done. I'm just teasing y'all. All right, I hope y'all have a good day. Big better tomorrow. Remember, the batteries are coming. The new big batteries, and it'll be like 4 of those jokers, big old box. In the box that I'm talking about, even has CAN communication for the inverters, which is better. So the inverters directly can talk to the batteries. That'd be better. But that's coming in the deal. They released them not too long ago. Like, since I started this project is when they released that box, and I'm stoked for it. I'm ready, and so we're gonna see what we can do. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you there, and y'all have a good one. Bye.